World Financial Group offers entrepreneurs from all backgrounds the opportunity to start their own business on a level playing field. Dr. Yana Woodhouse, receiving the WCM Wall Street Pioneer Award by the United Black Wall Street of America, Inc., is one of those entrepreneurs.
I see WFG and TFA as a place where African Americans with an entrepreneurial mindset can flourish. And the bonus, we help families and serve the communities across the country.
To learn more about us, go to worldfinancialgroup.com.
We are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward-thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.
Hello, and welcome once again to another fantastic Tuesday where your guy, your dressed down CEO Tyrone Glover is here to give it to you like I always do every Tuesday. Thank you everyone for taking time or making the time to be with us today, and we are greatly appreciative of that understanding. We have the academic season behind us. We have a 4th of July behind us. We have a whole lot of events behind us already, and this is a great thing. So I'm just so happy to be back in front of the camera with you, giving you all of that, which I know you are so in need of. Again, my name is Tyrone Glover, and I am the dressed down CEO of Leverage Credit Recovery. Thank you so much for, as I always say, making the time to be here today. Without you, none of this would be possible. So sorry, had a little technical glitch there. My apologies, but I'm back. But as I stated, we are so grateful to have you part of our Tuesdays every single Tuesday. And we're going to be talking about how and whether or not financial literacy classes, something like as simple as a class, should be offered in K through 12. The topic of today's subject is going to be, can financial literacy programs help? Can they be beneficial? And I'm here to tell you that they could, because this year I've been able to spend a lot of time with students grades 9 through 12, and what they've been able to just elaborate and show me how much they were engaged in that subject matter. I thought I'd do a show on that. But as always, thank you for being part of the day. Thank you, Soul City Network, for giving me the platform. Thank you to everybody out there who always makes it part of their Tuesday to join in. Please leave some comments in the sections. As you may know, we are Soul City Network, and we are on Verizon TV. We're on Apple TV. We're on a lot of these platforms. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. We've been very excited about all of the new opportunities that have been given to us. And I'll talk more about that as we move into and probably as we end the show. So let's go ahead and get this started. All right, so we're going to be talking, as I said, can financial literacy programs help? I'm here to tell you, not only can they help, but they will save you a lot of headache. They will save you a lot of headache, and so many of us are dealing with headaches. And the question that I have for all of you, should we be dealing with headaches? No, we should not. We should be finding some other ways and means of making this work for us. And I know for a fact that it can work. I know for a fact that it can work. All you have to do is want it more than those who are presenting it to you. And I'm going to give you some little bit of tidbits of today that you probably may or may not have known. And if you didn't know it, you're going to walk away with a lot of valuable information. So get those pens out, get those papers out, get all of that out that you need to keep and follow along with us, because this is going to be a show of the ages. And I just want to make sure that those of you who are tuning in, that you're able to get exactly all of the information that you're going to need. And please, on Facebook, you can leave comments. On YouTube, you can leave comments. Leave some of those comments so I can answer those questions as we're proceeding through the shows. And if, as always, I always put up my device to let you know that you should share this. Share this with those in your circles. Let them know that we're here to provide this information for you. All right, so financial literacy, financial intelligence. Can financial literacy programs help? Today is July 11th, 2023. Let's get this started. All right, so the agenda today, we're going to be talking about financial knowledge, financial importance, financial behavior, and financial needs. All right, we're going to be covering a lot in these little short segments that we have laid out for you. But again, every importance about this is it all started with financial. You're going to have to get a solid handle on your financials, being that we are already have seen inflation go up. We've seen interest go up, or maybe interest have remained the same. But again, without good credit, guess what's going to happen? Your interest is going to be in that 23, 24%. And you don't want to be out there shopping when interest is high and your interest is high. All right. So when interest, meaning inflation, is high and your interest is high, you don't want to be out there spending that bread. You want to be finding other ways. And it was so great. I was talking to one of my students today, and he asked me, so what's more important, saving or investing? Now, I'm all for saving, but you got to remember something. Savings is not getting us back the return that we're looking for. Saving, putting it in a savings account, is not getting you back that return. Putting it in a checking account, it's not getting you back that return. You need to start looking at things that are giving you solid returns. 5%. I saw a CD at, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was Capital One, but you had to put in like $10,000. And I know a lot of the individuals that I get the opportunity to talk to, they don't have $10,000. They're looking at something relatively small to start growing big. And these are the way we're going to help you get to that understanding. So again, financial knowledge, financial importance, financial behavior, and financial needs are the agenda that we're going to be talking about while we move through whether or not these financial literacy programs would be beneficial. Again, my name is Tyrone Glover, and I am the best good guy. I'm the CEO of Leverage Credit Recovery. I am the creator, founder, and CEO of Leverage Credit Recovery. I have had the pleasure of assisting hundreds, if not thousands, of consumers over the past 20 years resolving credit-related concerns and issues. As an educator, I've had the unique opportunity to educate all levels of our society, businesses, all the way down to my little 4-year-old nephew. All levels of society, from the corporate boardroom to the classroom. I possess skills, knowledge, and abilities which have made me a true asset and authority in this space related to personal and business credit. I'm telling you, I stay in my lane for one reason and one reason only, because I prefer to perfect that lane. Now, I can give you some information and some tidbits on other lanes that are encompassed into the financial services, but I leave that for my other experts and super mentors and friends in those spaces, so that I, the credit man, can just hand you right on over to somebody who has even more knowledge and has put in that time to make sure that you're getting the most accurate and adequate information that you need. So again, my space is the credit lane, but I can talk about other areas, but I would more than likely pass you over to the specialist in that lane that will be able to handle you exceptionally. All right. Disciplined, committed, highly educated veteran of the United States Army and former corporate executive by way of European studies. I'm an enthusiast, an activist, an advocate for most of our vulnerable, again, for all of our vulnerable individuals who have been abused, deceived, and misled by all forms of predatory lending, the courts, and credit reporting agencies. Yes, again, all forms of predatory lending, the courts have to sad to say that. And again, credit reporting agencies. We can, we must, we will improve the financial lives of the working poor and middle class. It's just that important that we take care of those elements. 60% of the overall population in the United States is working poor and middle class. If we, the working poor and middle class, focused on that 60%, we'd be able to reestablish a voting bloc that will be unmatched by any dollar that rich folks throw at Republicans or Democrats. I'm telling you, this is where it's going to change the dynamic. This is where we get to buy back our country. Yes, I'm talking some real knowledge today, folks, because it's overdue time. And I'm going to be, and that'll come up in a minute, but I'm going to be celebrating here pretty soon. And I would love for Facebook and all of you to join me. So you have a right, you have no rights to opt out of having credit report or creditors report your account to credit reporting agencies. Thought we did, but you don't. You have zero rights to opt out of having creditors report your accounts to credit reporting agencies. Yeah, that's right. Tell them different strokes, Arnold. What you talking about, Willis? Exactly. What are you talking about? That seems a bit odd. And I'm going to tell you why it seems a bit odd. All right. So did you know lenders are not required to report credit to credit bureaus? They're not. So that's why it's so odd when I say, why can't we opt out if they are not required to report to credit bureaus? So there must be some connection. There must be something there that either the credit reporting agencies or bureaus, and I like to call them bureaus because I like to correct that understanding. They're not part of the federal government. They are agencies, but I call them bureaus just to correct that understanding. So as I was saying, if these agencies are not required by law or any regulation to say that they have to report, what linkage is it there that allows for them to keep us or hold us hostage to 7-year credit reporting, 2 years when it comes to your credit inquiries? I mean, some of that stuff stays on there for even longer than that. And if you don't do your due diligence, guess what happens? You end up with even more hardship, more conditions, more circumstances that you can unfortunately not navigate out of because you are in a system that, again, is not required to report your credit reports or your credit activity, but you can't opt out of it. Seems a bit odd. While most major banks and financial institutions do report to the 3 major credit agencies, so they do report most. And you got to remember something that's going to come up here. It's going to blow your mind. Equifax, TransUnion, Experian, the law does not require them to do so. So there's nothing there that, meaning in the law, that says they have to do this. They're doing it for a monetary reason. Monetary reason. I just told you 60% of the population, 60. They're making oodles of money just off those 60. All right. Some lenders may choose to report to only 1 or 2 of the 3. And others may choose not to report at all. So it's really important to understand your credit reports from Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian to know the ins and outs of how this is working. Because if it's working, it's going to work to your effectiveness and your ability. But if it's not working, it's going to hinder you. It's going to prevent you from all of the financial benefits that you could have by knowing what I'm now just giving you as information. All right. Did you know the primary reason some banks choose not to report consumers' account activities to the credit bureaus is that during doing so is costly and complicated? Now, let that sit there for a minute. All right. The primary reason some banks choose not is because of cost and complicated. It's costly and it's complicated. Reporting borrowers' information requires the lender to go through a complex step to set up an account for each credit bureau. All right. So this is the reason why they choose not to do it. because that means they would have to hire people. And why hire people when they have already been doing everything that they possibly can to reduce their workforce, sending everything overseas and outsourcing our personal financial information. They would rather outsource to individuals who know absolutely nothing about our credit concerns or our situations. Nothing. I know you may or may not have called, but if you have called, I'm sure you probably ended up somewhere in a foreign country where you were talking to somebody who clearly they spoke English, but was it the English that we speak on a regular basis? Was it with a tinge of an accent or something of that nature? And if it was, more than likely, your account, your information was outsourced to someone who knows absolutely nothing about credit. Nothing. And it's pretty sad. You can't opt out. There's no law requiring the creditors to report, but yet we're beholden to a system that will not do anything but keep us in financial purgatory. And this has to stop. And the only way for it to stop is for us to have more conversations just like this one. More conversations just like this one. Because if we do, then we can come together. And I'm telling you, 60 to 70%. Think about those numbers, 60 to 70%. With roughly over 325 million people, 60 to 70%. That puts us somewhere in the 210 category range of individuals in the United States that have less than perfect credit. Come on now. I'm only preaching and it's not Sunday. All right, here's a code that I want all of you to remember. Code 151681. All right, the banking system is dependent upon fair and accurate credit reporting. They are dependent upon it, but yet they don't care about doing it accurately or reporting it fairly in the manner in which it's supposed to. No, that's why it's so important for you to make sure that you're double checking, triple checking, staying on top of your financial information, your sensitive financial information that's being just given out to the world. Because there's no laws, no requirements that says that these individuals must, but there are laws and requirements to say that what they must do. You think they're doing that? You think they're doing that properly? Do you really think that their algorithms, do you really think that their AIs, do you really think that their best practices are designed to help you, the consumer, the individuals that they have no links to other than monetarily? That's it. They just want that bread. That's all they want. And we keep giving it to them. 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 We keep giving it to them for decades. Think about that for a minute now. For decades. I'm 56 years old. On Friday, I'll be 57. Thank you, everyone, for the early birthday present. But there'll be coming up an announcement that I want y'all to join me on my birthday. But I'm 57. And ever since I was 20, I've always had issues with understanding this whole credit thing. So I'm talking now 30 years. We're talking about 3 decades. 3 decades. 30 years of a system that has been designed and orchestrated to do one thing and one thing only, and that's to keep 60 to 70% of the U.S. population, primarily low income, African Americans, low income, Hispanic, low income, whites, Caucasians, low income, Asians, low income, Middle Eastern, low income citizens of this country, middle class, African Americans, Caucasians, Hispanics, Middle Eastern, you name it. If you're in this country and you are a citizen, and even if you're not a citizen and you have some means of doing your financial understanding, your business, you should know why these systems are so designed not to do what they are supposed to do. We got a Congress that gives them a slap on the wrist and they send them on their little way. Slap on the wrist, send them on their little way. Slap on the wrist, send them on their little way. And this has been going on for, at least, as I said, for myself, it's been going on for 3 decades. I've had enough. I know more about the credit situation, more about the credit understanding, probably than those who work in this industry and who are they so-called customer service. They can't help. They can't do what's expected of them because, as I said, every time they go to Congress, they get a slap on the wrist and they get to go right back out there. And this slap on the wrist only emboldens them to go out there and create and commit more egregious acts against us, the consumer. All because they what? I told you. Because it's too costly and too complicated. These institutions should not be working, should not be able to operate if they feel it is too costly and too complicated to take my sensitive information and just throw it out there into the world so that the 80 Tom, Dick, and Harry can have access to it. And then not only to have access to it, but then they transport it from out of these United States and they send it all the way to foreign countries. Think about that for a minute, folks. Think about that. Congress, I hope you're listening. Democrats, I hope you're listening, because I don't really care too much about Republicans. It's really Democrats. That's why I have to hold my nose every single time I get into a voting booth and have to hit that lever, or have to bubble in whoever it is that I need to vote for when it comes to a Democrat. I will never vote for a Republican, ever, 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 never, ever. But I despise the fact that I have to hold my nose when I vote for a Democrat, because they're just as bad when it comes to serving us, the people. But yet they want our votes. But that's another topic for another day. Inaccurate credit reports directly impair the efficiency and the banking system, and unfair credit reporting models undermine the public confidence in essentials to continued functioning for the banking system. All right. It's not really that hard for them to do what they need to do. If they did, we would not have so many individuals not being able to have access to adequate credit. We wouldn't have that many individuals who, again, this is the system calling some individuals unbankable. I don't get how, if you have an income or you have some means of securing resources, that you can't even get a established bank account. There should be no such thing. But yet, this is how our systems work, because, again, it's too costly and too complicated. These institutions, a lot of them today, new financial situations that have emerged, they don't even have to have customer service telephone numbers. It's all being done through an email. Who has 3 days to wait for a response if I have a financial transaction that needs to be done in, say, 15, 20 minutes? Who has 3 days to wait? I don't. But this is where, again, we've given up so much of our liberty, so much of our freedoms, that even on Independence Day, we're not actually independent, nor are we free. These are some serious, serious situations, and I need every single person to really start honing in on how do you start making your money work better for you. Thank you, Yana. I know you out there listening to me, and I appreciate you so much. But Dr. Yana B. Woodhouse gave me that. How Money Works. It's a great little book. She's got a new one coming out, and it's also related to how money works. But how does it work for women? And I'm sure she's going to be doing one for men, and I'm sure she's probably going to be doing one for kids. But how does your money work? Do you know how it works? Because if you don't, it's working hard for somebody else. It's doing more for somebody else than it is doing for you. And when inflation is as high as it has been, or even as high as it is now, you should not be out there spending bread. You should be doing as much as you can to conserve, put that to the side, add it to some other resources that are going to grow that money. If you're just putting it into your bank account and letting it sit there while the bank uses your money, I wouldn't say that's the best thing. And now we have insurance things that I just found out that they're doing the exact same thing. They're using these methods and methodologies to get you to give them so much of your hard-earned, and then the returns are so minuscule. And this is why we are not able to see growth when it comes to the working poor, the middle class, because they don't understand financial literacy. They don't understand how to be financially intelligent, and we're suffering. Far too many of us are suffering financially, all because of elements that should be in our K through 12s, but they're not. They should be in our higher education facilities, but they're not. We produce individuals who can just go to work for somebody. This needs to stop. We need to be producing individuals who can work for themselves. And if they choose to go to work for somebody, then that could be their side hustle. You shouldn't have to have a side hustle while you're working for somebody, all because that individual doesn't want to pay you properly. And we can talk about that in another time frame. And equally doesn't want to make sure that when they give you your resources, that you are able to use those resources accordingly. Not overspending. Every single institution, facility should have somebody who can manage or help you manage your money far more superior. Theft would be down in stores. Turnovers would be down in locations. Again, we keep talking about our participation rate, which remains somewhere around 66, 69%. We should have that actually a lot higher. But unfortunately, we have individuals who work in these locations, whether it be fast food, hotel, travel, leisure, it doesn't matter. Automotive, it doesn't matter. If we had individuals who were honed in on making sure that we are all more financially secured, we'd probably have a lot better everything. We'd have a lot better situations within our working culture that we would never probably have had a great resignation. Yeah, you don't remember that 2 years ago, just after COVID? People started leaving their job because they hated it. They didn't hate the job, they just hate the people that they're working with, because people are the problem. Yeah, I said it, and I'm going to stick to it. But there you have it right there, folks. Remember this code 151681. All right, this is for the banking system, and it depends on fair and accurate credit reporting. And if you believe that there is some shenanigans going on in your credit reporting, then you're going to have to do something about it. You're going to have to step up and do something about it. So financial literacy programs, if you haven't already by now figured it out, they are beneficial. They are so worth it. If you go to the gym and you get the muscles, it's worth it. If you like to ride a bike and you ride once or twice or 3 times a day, it's worth it. That's exercise. It's stuff that gets you to where you need to be physically. You need to start thinking about your financial strength and physicality in that regards as well. And if you do, I'm telling you, you're going to be set up for the rest of your days. And not only are you going to be set up, the whole point of this experiment is to make sure that you're helping your children. God knows if something should happen to any parent, what's going to happen to that child or those children? Are you secured enough that you, if something should happen to you, your kids are going to be okay? Because if not, you're leaving them to the states. You're leaving them to a government that wants to, and again, when I say government, I mean the institution. It wants to do the right thing, but unfortunately, you have individuals within the institution that does not want to do the right thing. So the government is going to take them children. They're going to hold on to them, brother and sister, mom and dad, or excuse me, the brother and sister, aunt and uncle. If mommy and daddy didn't write it down on paper and put it into somewhere where somebody can grab it and go, here's what the last will and understanding of those parents were, guess what's going to happen to those children? All right, it's a fight that you do not want to have to go through. And that's all part of being financially literate. Just knowing the particulars. Should something happen to me, are my children going to be financially secured and have the ability to continue living that lifestyle that you were, or the missus have put out there for them to do? Because if you do, they're going to be okay. If you do not, I'm telling you, you're only going to make situations worse, far worse than they need to be. And all we have to do is get out of our own way and start applying some of these basics of financial understanding, basics of financial intelligence. All right, so financial knowledge and decision-making skills help people make informed financial decisions through problem solving, critical thinking, and an understanding of key financial facts and concepts. All right, so that's financial knowledge. Informed financial decisions through problem solving, critical thinking, and understanding. And if you have to reach out to somebody to get those 3 elements, that's perfectly fine. It's better than spending your money and getting absolutely nothing in return for it. Now, you might be thinking, well, I bought my groceries. Well, those are necessities. You kept on your lights. Those are necessities. You paid your rent. That's necessities. You made sure that you had fuel and technology to get to back and forth if you're working from home or to do what you need to do. Again, those are necessities. What I'm referring to is that other spending, and that necessities, are you spending it properly too? Are you using the right transaction method when you are spending? Because your spending could be a problem too if you're using the wrong methods of spending. And I tell everybody, if you're not using credit to do your purchasing, don't be surprised if your credit score doesn't go up. You have to make sure you're using the right credit product to make sure that you're building that credit profile. Okay, so there's financial knowledge. Let's talk about financial importance. Why is finance important for life? Managing money effectively ensures financial security. Instead of staying in a loop of earning and spending and living paycheck to paycheck, oftentimes you may face periods where you outspend your earnings. To avoid these and similar headaches and debt, creating good financial goals is essential. Okay? Not that hard. That was pretty simple to understand. Let's break this loop of earning and spending and living paycheck to paycheck. I'm talking to the 60-70% of this country who is living on edge. You're constantly wondering, are you one paycheck away from being on the streets? Are you one paycheck or one write-up away from not being employed? We live in at-will states. We have a dysfunctional government right now that can't seem to do what it needs to do. And in my state or in my city, Yonkers, New York, we have an individual who's seeking a 4th term right now. And again, it's nothing wrong, but you got to show that you've been doing something to even get the 2nd or the 3rd. Now, you might be helping some, but the overall masses, I can tell you right now, that's not happening. And that's in the majority of these states. It's not happening. If you have 3 individuals in this country today that have more wealth than 60 and 70% of the population, it means we have some serious problems that must be addressed. And if our Congress is going to have to keep, what's the word that they always say? Exploring or what's that other one? Researching or studying. You don't need to study this anymore. I'm 50-something years old. I don't need you studying anything else about why you have systems that you have allowed to go for 30 years. You've done enough studying. You've done enough analyzing. What you now need to do is you now need to hold them as well as yourself accountable, so we can break this cycle, so we can get out of these vicious situations that, again, I own up to what I've done. And prior to me being financially intelligent and prior to me being financially literate, I was the fault for my inabilities to understand how money works. I was at fault. And once I got to that point where I understood, whoa, what the heck am I doing? I started really realizing, oh my God, this is not me. This is not all me. I do what I need to do, but I'm hoping that the entities in the industry does what it needs to do too, to make sure that I, as an African-American male, will have the benefits and the fortitude to move forward financially. But that's not the case. And these concepts that I'm bringing forth are super important for every single one of you to understand and start making the time to adhere and put part of your financial goals. It's essential. It's essential. All right, financial behavior can be defined as any human behavior that is relevant to money management. Common financial behaviors include cash, credit, and savings behavior. It is the personal management of financial situations such as saving, investing, money, and credit. Again, if your financial behavior is ideal, you're going to have more than enough resources to do what you need to do. 7, I'm going to say 7. The average millionaire has 7 streams of income. Okay, 7 streams of income. The average millionaire. The average person has 1. You will never, ever, ever get to the American dream with 1 single form of income. That's why it's important for you to become financially literate and financially intelligent, because we've got too many people running around here. Oh, look at me. I got me a good job. 1 income source. And that might be a great job, but it's still 1 income source. You're not investing. You're not using your money wisely. You're not using credit. You just got 1 income source and you think you're living on top of the world. That's not your best life, son. I'm telling you, it's not your best life, sis. I'm telling you, that's not. Your best life is when you have 7 streams of income, and I can help you get to all 7 along with the individuals that I have who are equally passionate about making sure that you get to those 7 as well. But you got to want it more than those of us who are presenting it or giving it to you. All right, so financial behavior, financial needs. What are the 5 areas of personal finance? Though there are several aspects to personal finance, they easily fit into one of 5 categories: income, spending, savings, investing, and protections. These 5 areas are critical to snapping your personal or sharpening your personal financial planning. Okay, it's important. It's important to know about these 5 categories. These are your financial needs. You have to make sure that you are fulfilling these needs, because if you are, your financial future is not only going to be set for you, but should you have little ones behind you. I have nephews and nieces. I don't have any little ones of my own, but I do hope that as I move through and I make myself more financially secure by being financially intelligent and financially literate, hey, maybe there might be a little honey or someone that come around and say, hey, I like you, I appreciate you, let's have some babies. I'm just kidding, totally kidding. All right, but that's normally how we should be setting ourselves up for success. I choose not to bring any little ones into the world right now until I have made 100% certain that my finances are going to be A-okay. And if it happens accidentally, hey, I'm still going to love that kid immensely, just like I love all of my nephews and nieces, just like I appreciate all of my students. But it's not up to me. It's up to you, the individual, to want it more than I. My job is to be the information provider, and that's exactly what I'm going to do until the creator pulls my card. And I'm hoping he gives me another 5 decades or 4 decades, whichever he sees fit, to allow for me to continue this most necessary and needed work when it comes to educating our public on financial literacy and financial importance. Financial literacy programs are not only beneficial, they must now become essential. They must now become part of the DNA for our pre-K through 12, and they must also become part of the understanding in our higher education facilities as well. We need to stop producing workers, and we need to start producing more citizens who are financially stable. The work is easy. It's the people that we have to deal with. That's the hard part. It's the understanding of how our money works. That's the challenging part. The work is not a problem at all. I can tell you right now, you can go to work, but you got to know how to read that paycheck. You got to know how to read that pay stub. You got to know what they're deducting. You have to know how your money's working. You have to know all of these things to be able to manage your life more effectively and see your money grow. Because if you do, I'm telling you, you're going to set yourself up for success. I'm tired of these failures. Not that failure is a bad thing. Through failure, you learn. But we shouldn't be repeating the same things over and over and over and over and garnering the same results. That's insanity. And we need to get away from that. You need to focus on the importance of financial literacy, financial intelligence, and with that, you will become financially stable, financially free, and financially independent. All right. So one of those areas that the 5 factors that they were talking about is income. What is income? Income refers to money that a person or entity receives in exchange for their labor or products. Income may have different definitions depending on the context. For example, taxation, financial accounting, and economic analysis. For most people, income means their total earning in the form of wages and salary, the return on their investment, pension deductions or distributions, and other receipts. All right, so that's income in a nutshell. What you get, and that income is what you're going to use to live that life. And if it's sufficient, you're going to live a good life. And if it's not, you're going to have to find other ways of being able to stretch that money out, borrow from here, lend to there. I mean, there's going to be a variety of different things that you're going to have to do to stay on top. But this paycheck to paycheck thing, we got to get away from that because that's not going to work. It's not working. It's not working. And it has not been working. And as I stated, I'm going to constantly keep saying it. I'm 56, be 57 on Friday, but I'm 56 years old. And for the past 3 decades, this is all I have been interested in, is wondering why and how. And then I spent the last 15, 20 in exploring and now understanding it better than most individuals, better than probably Equifax, TransUnion, Experian themselves. I'm here to help. I'm here to do what I now know, why I was created for this very moment in history. Because we're feeling it, folks. We're feeling it. And my job is to help you get out of it. My job is to help you navigate through as successfully as you should so that you can start reaping the benefits of all that hard work. Make your money work for you and stop letting it work for others. All right, spending. What is consumer spending? Now, spending, again, I wanted to tie it into consumer spending, so that's why I went with the consumer spending piece. So consumer spending is the total money spent on final goods and services by individuals and households for personal use and enjoyment in an economy. It's just that simple. Complementary measures of consumer spending include all private purchases of durable goods, non-durable goods, and services. Consumer spending can be regarded as complementary to personal savings, investment savings, and product in an economy, or production in an economy. My apologies. All right, so think about that for a second. Consumer spending can be regarded as complementary to personal savings. That means what you put away, but again, be careful with that savings word. You're taking your money and put it into your savings account. I can tell you right now, you're only getting back 0.02 or 3. 0.02 or 3. That is absolutely nothing. It would take you 1,000 years to probably save up a few pennies. But yet, every time you have money in that checking account, guess what these institutions are doing with your money? They're making tons of money off of your money, and they're giving you absolutely nothing back in return. So how can you spend so much money? You need to be more wiser about it. You need to be more understanding about what that money is doing when you're spending it. All right. And you have to use the proper spending tools. Credit. If you're building it, you need to spend it. You need to use it. My apologies. If you're building it, you need to use it. If you're not building it, you still need to be very cautious with how you're spending your money during high inflation times. Okay. You need to be very, very strategic, very, very cautious. And we also need to require upon our legislators to go out to these locales that we visit on a frequent basis. And we know that they're gouging. We know that they're doing all kinds of nasty things, shenanigans. I don't even like using that word nasty because that's the one that orange guy uses. But we know that they're doing all kinds of shenanigans to, again, depart us from our hard-earned resources. So it's really important, folks, to understand how that money works. All right, investing. So we're on number 3. So we had income, we had spending. Now we're on number 3, which is investing. What is investing? Investing broadly is putting money to work for a period of time in some sort of project or undertaking in order to generate positive return. Again, to generate positive return, i.e., profits that exceed the amount of the initial investment. All right. If you go to an ATM machine and you take out $20 and you get that receipt that comes back and it says an additional $5 more, you have just generated negative return. Okay, you should have got money and you should have went. You should have, if you were going to the ATM, you should have just used your card to make that purchase instead of going to the ATM, taking out cash. Using that card would have generated a positive return. Why? Because it's a credit tool. So you were using the proper credit tool, and it's not the investing that you're probably accustomed to, but it's a different type of investing that allows for your money to work harder for you. Remember what I told you, folks? I am a genius when it comes to understanding how your credit needs to work. All right, that was a quick understanding about a positive return, i.e., profits that exceed the amount of your initial investment. It is the act of allocating resources, usually capital, i.e., money, with the explanation or exceptions, my apologies, expectations of generating an income, profit, or gain. All right, nothing more. Just relax, take it easy. Number 1 rule to investing is patience. If you have the patience and the time to watch your money grow, by all means, what more do you have to do with it? Oh, you want to spend it. Don't worry about spending it. Invest it. One can invest in many types of endeavors, either direct or indirect, such as using money to start a business or in assets such as purchasing real estate. Number 1 asset class, real estate, in hopes of generating retail income and or reselling it later at a higher price. That's all what investing is, being able to access something that you have that you can give potentially, or purchase something, watch those assets grow. As they grow, you can either hold on to them, pass them down to your lineage, or you can sell them at a greater value. You don't think financial literacy and financial intelligence classes are important? Well, folks, if you didn't know this, now you do, so it's important. You got to be thinking more strategic about how your money's working. And if you're not, I'm telling you, you're setting yourself up for financial disaster. If you're not already in that type of a situation, it's only going to get deeper. You're only going to keep digging that hole deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. I'm here with the backhoe to fill it in for you. All right. Investing differs from saving, in which the money used is put to work, meaning that there is some implicit risk that the related projects may fail. And that's could happen anywhere. You can walk out the house, trip down the stairs, can't make it to work because you done twist your ankle. All right, so many things can happen, resulting in loss of money. Investing also differs from speculation, in which that the latter, the money is not put to work, but is better on the short-term price fluctuation. So again, it's totally up to you, but you have to start thinking about how that money works. You have to start finding individuals that are just as passionate as I am. You have to start putting pieces together. It's a puzzle. Once you start putting those puzzle pieces together, a lot of you already have the outline. You've already went and put all of the sides. You've got every corner together of your puzzle. You filled in some of those middle pieces. And now you still got a little bit more when it comes to that financial understanding that still needs to connect so that you can have an overall picture of how your financial looks. And this is what I'm here to do. This is what I do every Tuesday, helping you get to that next level. And the final piece is protections, customer protections, and I tie this into law. So consumer protection law are made to protect consumers from fraudulent business practice. Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian, fraudulent business practices. These guys have been fined and feed for decades, and they still have the ability to go out there and operate. I don't know how that's even possible. But again, as I told you, I do know how it's possible. I like to say that because, again, a lot of people, I don't know how does that even come to this? I know how it comes because our legislators and our regulators are investors. Equifax, TransUnion, Experian is on the stock market. So clearly there's an investment there. So what do? When we have an investment? Oh, we're going to protect that investment, right? That's what we're talking about, protection. So our legislators literally give them carte blanche to do whatever they want because it's just a little small slap on the fine and a fee. But if you dismantle them, if you got rid of them, that means their pockets would be hurt. I'd rather their pockets be hurt than ours. So we're going to have to find ways of making sure that these entities do what they need to do. And if it means dismantling them, then I guess that's what we're going to have to do. Because I guarantee you, you can't go to work and do half the stuff that Equifax, TransUnion, Experian can do. I guarantee you cannot go to work and do what Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian does on a regular basis. You could not get away with not 1 ounce of what they do at your place of work. So why do our regulators allow for these entities to do exactly the opposite when it comes to us, the consumer? Think about that for a minute, because every bit of what I've been saying thus far should be resonating. It should be sitting heavily on your soul, and you should be looking at the next 6 months. You're going to do everything in your power to make sure that you have the financial literacy and that you have the financial intelligence to be able to help me, help you get after them. Because if we do this, I'm telling you, we're going to buy back our nation. We're going to buy back our entities. We're going to buy back our understanding of what the American dream means to the working poor and the middle class. If you want it, if you don't want it, it's perfectly fine. I'm cool with your situation. I'm cool with your situation. I just want to make your situation that much more formidable for you and for your littles. I'm more inclined to help your kids than I am to help the adults, because for the last 7 years, that's all I've been doing. Wanting to help the adults, 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 wanting to put more resources and understanding into the adults' hands. The adults are already set in their ways. And it's okay that you are. But I'm here to tell you, if you got littles, if you got small ones, if you got anyone that you're caring for, you need to take this more serious, because they are depending upon your financial understanding, your financial literacy, and your financial intelligence. And if you can't give it to them, by all means, please turn them over to me. Let me make sure that they're going to be okay. All right. But those protections are super important. They play an important role in a reliable market economy, helping to keep sellers honest with no threat of unpleasant surprises. But we get unpleasant surprises all the time. Consumer protection laws in the United States comprise various federal and state laws. If you don't know your rights, you don't have them. You have the FTC, Federal Trade Commission. You have the CFPB. You have so many protections that are out there. And I'm not asking you to know them all. I'm just asking you to know somebody who knows them, so that if you do find yourself confronted with some type of business practice that is dangerous or is defective to some degree where it's harming you, then you should want somebody who can step right in and effectively get you a resolution. Not something that's going to take 72 hours, not something that's going to take 5 to 10 business days. This is ridiculous. All because our protections are not there and they're not serving us properly. Consumer protection laws in the United States comprise, as I said, various federal and state laws, each of which governs a particular area of the economy. The government oversees consumer protections through the Federal Trade Commission, FTC, while states use a variety of agencies and statutes to enforce consumer protections and sometimes expand on these laws. Sometimes. So I can tell you right now, if they can go all the way back to the 1700s and pull up a law from there, I bet you they're still on the books. Our job is to update. Our job is to reinforce. Our job is to protect ourselves. If the government or the entities that are there to do it are not doing it, then it's our responsibility to make sure that they're not in that type of business. It's just that simple. And I'm telling you right now, folks, we can do this. We can have this all wrapped up in a nice bow prior to Christmas so that we can hand it right off to Equifax TransUnion Experian and say, see ya, don't need ya. But it's up to you. It's not up to me. I'm still going to do my part. I need more of you to step up and help me help you get rid of these folks. We can put in far better understandings that will serve us, the consumer, and with all of the protections to make sure that we are doing what we need to be doing without being taken advantage of by entities that are not doing what they're supposed to do, all because regulators are, as I stated, the investors. All right? So not all jurisdictions protect consumers in the same way, with some being more pro-consumer than others. So it's really important. We got states, we have legislators. Again, everyone's out to make sure that their pockets are getting full, fat, thicker, while you, the consumer, are the individual who are paying for it all. All right, we're just about there, folks. So here you have high school courses in economics and personal finance. You tell me, based on what you're seeing here, do you really think can financial literacy programs help? I would tell you that they would do a significant job. Requires both courses be offered, the gray area. Requires both courses to be offered with some testing. Again, there's a lot of situations here. Requires some courses to be offered with some testing. Look at this one here. Requires no courses required to be offered or tested. So we got a lot of situations going on in these 50 states. And to be honest with you, they should all be the same. When it comes to high school courses in economic and personal finances, they should all be the same to the highest degree of making sure that our students understand not everything, but as much as they possibly need to be the most effective, financially literate, and financially intelligent consumers that we can produce. We need to stop sending workers into the workforce not knowing enough about their money and having it being taken advantage of, ending up on social programs, which again, I tell everybody, if you're not getting food assistance, if you're not getting rental assistance, if you're not getting whatever you can get from the United States government, then you're failing yourself, regardless of what kind of job you have. I make too much money. Trust me when I tell you, I filled out all my applications to get what I needed to get if need be. If need be. I don't mind getting a rejection letter telling me you make too much money. That's perfectly fine. I know that I went through the process. I'm not going to be hungry. I'm not going to be starving. I'm not going to be homeless. I'm not going to be doing those things all because I didn't take the opportunities that someone else is giving me. I'm giving you an opportunity. I'm giving you information. It's going to help you get to that next level. But you can see right here, high school courses in economics and personal finance. We need to make sure that this is clear across the board. Clear across the board. Every student, every individual, working poor, middle class, you need to know more about your financial situations. And if you don't, I'm here to help you. So I think I answered that question for everybody. Financial literacy programs are a benefit, and we need more of them. We need more of them in the private sector. We need more of them in the government sector. Joe Biden, if you're looking for somebody who can help you convey a message, Democratic Party, if you're looking for somebody who can help you get out messaging in the best format, because we already know that you guys are the worst when it comes to messaging? Well, here's your guy right here, calling you all out. All right, I got to wrap this up. So overall results, the ultimate goal of financial education programming is important in people's financial situation. Financial education programs should include systems and procedures to ensure the best results and measures their impact on person's finances. That's it. That's all we want to do. We want to make sure that you are getting the best, the most impact in your personal financial situation. Because then that all turns. Then you start getting the money back in your wallet instead of it ending up in a black hole. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so I got to wrap this up. And before I go, I want to let you know about my birthday, Financial Literacy, Financial Intelligence Birthday Bash, Friday at 1 to 2:30. I'm going to be talking just candidly about what I believe we should be doing. This is my birthday wish from you to me. All right, that you join me for 1 hour and a half, and I want everyone engaged. I want you talking. I want you to pose questions. I want you to help me help you get to where you want to be financially. On my birthday, July 14th, this is my birthday present to myself for you. I want to make sure that you are financially secure, fit, stable, whatever it is that you need financially. Join me Friday, 1 o'clock to 2:30 for our Financial Literacy, Financial Intelligence Birthday Bash on Facebook Live. And to wrap this all up, my name is, again, join us in the conversation, Talk Finance with an Expert, July 15th, which is Saturday at 12 to 1. And drop us a line. You can find our contact details here at Soul City Network, Linktree, Leverage Credit Recovery, leveragecreditrecovery@gmail.com, or send me a text at 805-428-9424. Again, that's 805-428-9424, or you can send me an email at leveragecreditrecovery@gmail.com. And by all means, check out Linktree. If you are not sure about Linktree, double check it. It's really, really super cool. And you can find me on Linktree at Leverage Credit Recovery. Thank you so much, everyone. As always, I so appreciate these times that I get to be a part of your Tuesdays. And I'm very, very grateful and humbled at the fact that you guys always, you show me that love, you show me that appreciation in the community, you show me that love, and you show me that appreciation on my social media feeds. I would love you to show me that love and that communication on July 14th at 1 o'clock. Thank you, everybody. You guys be safe, travel well. Be safe, America.
We are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.